Hitting a plateau in Overwatch usually means you don't even know what to improve on. The good news is, everything you need to break that barrier is on YouTube. There are hundreds of videos of top players playing against people at your skill level during unranked GM challenges. You only have to copy them to rank up. But it's not as simple as it seems, so how do you do this? Lucky you, I have a very reliable method to help you copy the pros and start improving again. I'm Coach Humbfz and I help players improve at Overwatch. Now, let's see how this method works. It consists of two steps, the analysis and the implementation. First, as I said in the intro, pull up an unranked GM or champion video on your hero of choice. If there are multiple videos on that hero, prioritize the most recent one or the one by the best player. Here, I'll use Crox's unranked champion on Ashe. Now, since you want to play like this player, let's see if you can at least predict what they do. Okay, let's try to predict their next move. The gameplay is running and I'm going to randomly pause the video. Now, in this situation, what do you think he's going to do? Let's take a guess and say he's going to try to shoot Orisa. Now, I've made my guess, so I'm going to unpause and let the video play for 1 or 2 seconds, then pause again. This should be just enough time to check if my guess was right or wrong. Well, here I was right, so that's probably something I would do in game. But what if I'm wrong? Here, I'm going for another guess. I predict that he's going to stay there so that he controls that sideline. However, when I unpause, you can notice I was wrong. Perfect, that's what we were waiting for. As you can see, with the same information as this player, I took a different decision. And since he's a much better player than me, I'll assume that his decision is right and mine isn't. Which is not exactly true, but close enough to being true. Your whole goal during the analysis phase is to identify blocks of decision making that you don't already use. It actually seems very logical. A good player is one that can react in the right way in a lot of situations. Now, because a decision is just a reaction to a piece of information, I'll just call those terms that way. This whole block we'll also call a process. The best players have a lot of good processes. They react accordingly to many pieces of information, even the ones you don't pay attention to for now. To illustrate what a process looks like, let's use the last sequence as an example. We identify the behavior at play, he walks forward. But what caused it? That's a way tougher question. Let's give some possible answers. 1. A few seconds before, he got pressured by Tracer, so maybe he wanted to create some distance. 2. They have a player's advantage, so he assumes the enemy is going to back off and follows that movement to get some more damage in. 3. He doesn't want to stay too long on the same angle to be less predictable. The problem is, for now, we can't tell for sure which one or which ones are pieces of information to take into account. We need more data. By that, I mean we need more examples of this reaction appearing. With this, we'll then be able to determine more accurately which piece of information actually was the one triggering the player's reaction. Now, if you're very confident about the guess you have, you can just skip looking at a lot of examples. Sometimes, however, finding what piece of information is at play would be beyond your understanding of the game, and it's fine. Just skip reactions you can't seem to explain. You'll have plenty more processes to discover. Moreover, if you're struggling to identify processes and especially pieces of information, consider booking a private coaching session with me. To do that, you can join the Discord through the link in the description. Alright, back to the video. Now that the analysis is done, some of you will have identified multiple processes, and this is great. But while it can be tempting to work on them all at once, it will just make the implementation phase slower. Integrating a process requires focus, and you don't have an infinite amount of it. So give as much attention to this process as possible without giving it too much. Otherwise the rest of your gameplay will suffer a lot and you just throw. That's not the point. That said, expect a dip in performance when implementing new processes, as it doesn't let you focus on the things you normally would. Don't worry though, after the said process is implemented, your rank will naturally go up again and even break your peak. This is called the bounce back effect. Once you're done with the implementation of this process, you should question its effectiveness. Are you performing better than before? Sometimes an implementation actually worsens performance if the process was poorly identified or contextualized in the analysis phase. So assessing its effectiveness is definitely required. You can do that through stats, how much impact you felt you had, if you were able to make more space for your team, or basically any indicator that you got more value than before. Actually, a processor's impact is usually visible, but in the few cases where it is too subtle to notice, it means you shouldn't worry about it and only get back to it at higher ranks where min-maxing is required. Let's quickly sum up what we said in this video, so that you leave it with a clear idea of what you want to do. There are two major steps in this method, the analysis and the implementation. During the analysis, you watch a better player's gameplay and try to predict what they do. If you fail, you can try to theorize why, and hopefully identify a process that you can then try to implement. And that's it for the video. Thank you very much for watching it all the way through. Feel free to subscribe and watch another video of mine as you might also like it. That being said, see ya!